friends was talking to me about starting a YouTube channel. She was super excited about it, but didn't know where to start or which topic to choose. Should she do it on yoga, on cooking, on her art process? She was really overwhelmed by it all. A couple months passed by and I asked her how it was going, and she hadn't even started. If you've ever been in a situation where you feel like you just have too many options and you just don't know where to start, well then this video is for you. I have to say that I suffered and still do from absolutely the same thing. It's called analysis paralysis. It's basically overthinking something and not taking any action. Like my friend, I have so many diverse interests that I just couldn't ever pick which project to focus on. Whether it was a design blog, a cooking blog, a travel blog, I wanted to do them all, and all at the same time. And then maybe sometimes I would choose one and I couldn't decide, should I do Instagram, should I focus on Facebook, and maybe a YouTube channel? It was just so many options. And then once that happened, should I niche down, should I go wide? It was just all so overwhelming. And here's the honest truth. You can't figure it all out just by writing about it or talking about it. You just have to do it. Marie Forleo always talks about clarity comes from engagement, not thought. So take that first step, take action, and start it. That is the best way. Basically, it's experimenting, testing, and taking action and seeing where that leads you, rather than writing it out, planning, and then taking action. Often we're stuck in that writing and planning phase. By testing and experimenting, we get an idea of where we like to spend our time on. And that's the most important part. It's what do we actually enjoy in the process, and we can only find that out by doing it. As the project moves along, it might pivot into something completely different than when it started. This is often something that happens in the startup world. Instagram started as something completely different than what it is today. And that only happened by seeing what people responded to, what really worked in the process of making it. So here are 5 tips on how to overcome analysis paralysis and start taking action. Number 1, know your why. What is the most important thing that you would like to accomplish? Keep that out in front, and that will help you to prioritize what you really need to work on and what things you can really let go of. Number 2, break it down into smaller steps. For example, instead of thinking about our entire website all at once, think about doing one page at a time, and then that leads to maybe another page and then another. Those small wins give us momentum, and it leads us to taking even more and more action. Number 3, set deadlines with accountability. This one is key for me. I find that I'm very motivated to do things for other people and for work, but when it comes to my own projects, I find it very hard to keep taking action or find the time to really work on them. Putting consequences with deadlines like a bet, announcing my projects publicly, having an accountability partner, all of these things help me to move my projects forward. Otherwise, I find so many other things to fill my time with. Number 4, stop learning. There is an abundance of information out there. And as a confirmed infoholic and bookaholic, I can attest that there's always going to be another article or another book to read that just seems so important at the time. I always thought that if I just learned one more thing, then I would have all of the answers and execute my plan perfectly. All of this just held me back, and it's actually called choice overload. The more data or information that we gather, the less we're able to make a decision and take action on that information. If you have enough information to take action, stop consuming and just take that next step. Number 5, don't be perfect. This actually applies in 2 ways. The first is that we shouldn't expect our first tries to be perfect. In fact, they should be just a little bit messy. It's completely normal. And the second one is that we shouldn't expect to have the perfect conditions to start. If you watch some of my first videos, you'll see they're actually terrible because I'm just getting used to the camera, I don't know how it all works, and everything was such a process for me. but I'm getting a little bit better every time that I do it. And that's the whole point, is to enjoy the process and kind of go step by step. And the second thing for me is that I always felt like the house needed to be sparkling clean or the closets organized before I started. And now I have to get around the fact that, you know what? If the house is messy, I just have to take this time and film and maybe clean later if I have time. And that is also part of the process. There's a saying, and I agree with this most of the time, that done is better than perfect. So there you have it. Those were 5 ways that we can get over analysis paralysis and start taking action. Looking back on all of those 5 things, I realized how bad I was at all of them. And I'm still pretty bad at some of them, but that's okay, because I realized that decision making and taking action is really a skill to develop. And it's part of the process that each time you get a little bit better, maybe you regress, and then you get better again. And that's part of the fun of it. I found that letting go and being okay with some things not working out has helped me so much along the way. And now I would love to hear from you. Do you suffer from analysis paralysis? And what is the biggest thing holding you back? Maybe as an action step, pick one project and then figure out your why. Why do you want to work on that project? If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.